We want to show you page one of this morning's Minneapolis Star Tribune. It calls the violence that you just saw a state of agony. Joining us now is Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. He's a former congressman from the district that includes Minneapolis. Attorney General Ellison, thank you for being with us. There's so much to get to, but I want to begin with your reaction to those protests overnight, as well as your reaction to the president and people who may agree with him that these people are thugs who, in some cases, may deserve to be shot.
Well, calling people thugs and calling on people to get shot stems from the same sort of attitude that resulted in the death of George Floyd. The tough guy, macho man, I'm going to make you do what I want you to do attitude is the heart of the problem. And we need the president and everybody else who thinks that you can get to a better place through threats of violence to stop it. I think violence begets violence, and Trump's angry words just feed an ugly cycle that is going on in my beloved city, which I'm so proud of, but I'm just paining for now. Look, here's what I say to the people who are protesting. You have made your point. Do not let people who want to burn or break things distort the message of justice for George. The fact is, he deserves to have his case heard. Justice needs to come forward, but we can't. Now the conversation has shifted to, what has happened in the streets as opposed to what's going to happen to these officers who so horrifyingly, treated him on the corner of Chicago and 38th. So we need to refocus our attention on what really matters, and we need to ignore the calls of people like Donald Trump, and we need to really start to put our city, our great city, back the way it was, and try to be in a better place than ever before.
So, Mr. Attorney General, on that subject, getting to a better place and justice for George Floyd, what does justice look like in your view?
Well, look, when you are in the business of prosecution and investigation, prejudging what you're going to do before you have facts is not a good idea, because we do have a Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial. I don't want a defense attorney to get up and say, oh, they all were against my client from the beginning. That's not true. But we have all seen the videotape. It's deeply disturbing. It looks very, very much like George Floyd was abused and mistreated, and it looks like that knee on the neck may well have caused his death. That is, those facts are in front of our eyes in the whole world. At this point, I think we need to move forward in an expeditious but thorough way to complete whatever investigation is needed and to bring charges if warranted. Now, of course, I have my own opinion about whether those charges are warranted. I clearly do. But I'm not going to start announcing those things in order to prejudice an investigation and hand the other side a defense. So I'm going to just say we're going to follow the evidence, and I think this case needs to be moving forward in the most expeditious manner. The protesters are calling for charges. If charges are warranted, there is no reason that we should stop and halt and not move forward with that. So those are my views on the topic.
Mr. Ellison? Mr. Ellison?
Yes.
I think everybody wants to make sure that justice is done here, and I think part of the problem is if it was a normal citizen who was seen on tape doing what this police officer was doing, we keep hearing about you can arrest people on probable cause. Can you help us all understand why this police officer, and then the video from the other side, Mr. Ellison, where you see two other officers holding Mr. Floyd down while he's begging and pleading for his life. Why haven't these men been arrested and the investigation continue? It happens all of the time when you see somebody that looks like they committed a crime and we're all watching. That's why there's so much pain and there's so much anger in your city today. You have to help us understand.
Ma'am, I'm very well aware why there's pain and anger in my city. I lived here. I've lived my whole adult life here. I've raised my 4 kids here. I've represented this district in Congress. I know about my city, okay? But I will tell you that it is true that probable cause can support a criminal complaint, and the jurisdiction that has primary responsibility for charging has decided up until this moment not to do so. The Minnesota Attorney General's office is not legally authorized to charge unless and until the case is referred to us, at which time we will handle the case according to law in an expeditious and thorough manner in accordance with justice. That's what we will do. But
you're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding my question. You're misunderstanding my question. I'm not asking about the Attorney General's office. I'm asking, as someone who understands the law, why these police officers haven't been charged. I'm not trying to tell you why there's pain and anger in your city. I know you love the city. Yes, please.
May I answer?
Yes, please.
May I answer, please? The answer is the authority for making the charge decision has not done so. That is the answer. Do they have good reasons? I assume so. That's the answer.
All right, Attorney General Keith Ellison, we'll have to leave it there. Of course, there's more to discuss. Thank you for your time.